Welcome to What is Truth? Brought to you by the Southern New Mexico Church of God in Las Cruces, New Mexico. What is Truth is a weekly program which seeks to focus our attention on the truth of God's Word. Now, with this week's lesson, here's Pastor Meyer Stahl.
My guests today are Vincent, Richard, Monica, and Angel Solar. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Well, we're going to look at the Bible. We're going to understand a little bit about the Bible today. We're going to understand that we as parents have a responsibility to teach the Bible to our children. Now, all Christian religions use the Bible as the basis of their teachings. Now, Angel, what school do you children go to?
We all go to the Las Cruces Catholic School.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's terrific. Well, before we get started, we are going to offer two very important booklets. The first being, Why Were You Born? Why were you born? And down here at the bottom, it says, do you really know why you were born? Do you realize God has a purpose being worked out? Most fail to understand that purpose. Read this booklet, you will be surprised. And the second booklet is The Kingdom of God, What Does That Mean to You? Now down here at the bottom, it states, is it the church? Is it something set up in the hearts of men? Is it the British Empire? Is it the good within you? Is it the millennium? Each of these is widely taught, yet none is right. The shocking truth is here made plain. These booklets are completely free. We have nothing to sell on this program. You could have these booklets, a CD of the program for free. All you have to do is call the number that you see on the screen and we'll send them right out to you. And now, children, we are going to study the story of Joseph. But before we study the story of Joseph, we're going to look at Matthew 18, chapter 18, verse 3. It says, and assuredly, Jesus says, assuredly, I say to you, unless you are converted and become as little children, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. Wow, that's incredible. Now we're going to go to the Bible, to Genesis chapter 37. And it says here in verse 1, now Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger in the land of Canaan. And this is the history of Jacob. Joseph being how old? How old was Joseph? Go ahead, Monica.
17.
He was 17 years old. He was just a teenager. Now, God works with teenagers. God works with young people like you. Okay, so he was 17 years old and was feeding the flock with his brothers. And the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah. Does anybody know who Bilhah and Zilpah was? Does anybody know? Who were they, Richard?
Joseph's brothers.
No, they were the wives of Jacob. They were the wives of Jacob. Jacob had 4 wives. Yeah, he had 4 wives at this time. Okay, his father's wives. And Joseph brought a bad report of them to his father. He tattled about his 2 brothers. Okay? Should we tattle about our brothers and sisters to our parents? Go ahead, Angel.
Yes, because if they're doing something bad or if they get hurt.
If they're doing something bad and they get hurt. Now, if Angel would be smoking, would you tattle on Angel? Would you tell your dad?
Yes.
Vincent? Yes. Would you, Richard?
Yes.
And Monica?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, you should. If he's doing something bad that hurts himself, then you should tattle. you don't have to tattle about every little thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he brought a bad report to his father. Now, Israel loved Joseph more than all his children. Now, how would you feel if your mom and your dad loved one of you more than the other? Go ahead, Monica.
I would feel jealous because that one kid's getting most of the credit for what most people like. Well, your parents love everybody, but they love him more.
Okay, Angel.
I would feel a little sad, but at the same time a little angry that one of my brothers is getting all the attention and the rest of us are just sitting in the shadows.
Well, I would too, sure. Because he was the son of his old age, also he made him a tunic, that's like a coat, of many colors. It must have been beautiful. That coat must have been really beautiful. And when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. So his father gave a coat to Joseph, but he didn't give a coat to any of the other children. Now, how would you feel if one of your brothers or sisters got a present and you didn't get one? How would you feel, Angel?
We're a little jealous that they have something that we don't.
Yeah, Monica?
I'd feel sad.
I would feel sad too. Now, when I was a little boy, my brother and I were playing, and my father gave a present, I don't know to which one of us. We were only a year apart. And he gave a present to one of us. And we were both fighting over that toy or present. And my mother says to my father, "You do not give a present to one child and not to another." Is that fair?
No.
Yeah, it's not fair to give a present to one child and not the other, right? Everybody should be treated the same, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Or it becomes problems. Now, Joseph had a dream. Do you have dreams?
Yes.
Oh, well, sure. And he told it to his brothers. Now, sometimes you shouldn't tell about your dreams. Now, we're going to see a case here where he shouldn't have told. And they hated him even more. Why? Well, we'll see. So he said to them, "Please hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field." Do you know what a sheaf is?
Is it kind of a bundle of hay?
Bundle of grain. Yeah, it's a bundle of grain. And in the field. And then behold, my sheaf arose and stood upright, and indeed your sheaves stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf. Now, what do you think that meant? Go ahead.
That he
Angel.
was that he's gonna become greater than all of them?
That's right. That's right. So, and his brothers said to him, "Shall you indeed reign over us?" Do you know what reign means? Go ahead, Monica.
Take over us?
Well, take over or rule over. Yeah, that's right. Okay. "Shall you have dominion over us?" That's rule over us. So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. When I was young, a good friend of mine said, "Meyer, there are things that are better left unsaid than said." Now, I learned from that. Sometimes when I'm ready to open my big mouth, I say to myself, I remember what Al told me when I was younger. He says some things are better left unsaid than said. Now, that's an important lesson. So we don't have to say everything that's on our mind, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then he dreamed still another dream and told it to his brothers. Now, he was getting in trouble with all these dreams and said, "Look, I have dreamed another dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bowed down to me." Do you know what that meant? Go ahead, Angel.
That his mother, father, and then all his brothers would bow down to him?
Right. That's exactly right. So he told it to his father and his brothers. And his father rebuked him. Do you know what rebuke means? Go ahead, Monica.
He didn't listen to him.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
He
Dean.
denied him?
What?
He denied him or didn't believe him?
Yeah, he said, rebuked him means he told him off. He says, you shouldn't have said that. Okay? And he said to them, what is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and all your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you? Who do you think you are? See? So we learn that all of the heroes of the Bible didn't always do what was right. And we learn about the wrong things they did along with the right things, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And if you have any questions while we're going along, you can ask them. Okay. Then his brothers went out to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel, that was Jacob, that was his name, said to Joseph, are not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send you to them. So he said to him, here am I. What does that mean? That means I'm ready to go, right? Okay? Then he said to him, please go and see if it is well with your brothers and well with the flocks, and bring back word to me. So he sent them out of the valley of Hebron, and he went out to Shechem. Now, a certain man found him. Now, that's unusual to say that a certain man found him. Okay? And there he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, what are you seeking? What are you looking for? And he said, I am seeking my brothers. Please tell me where they are feeding the flock. And the man said, they have departed from here, for I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. Do you think that certain man could have been an angel?
Yes.
Yes.
You do? Do you think so, Vincent? Yes, he could have been an angel. Go ahead,
He
angel.
could have been a messenger?
He could have been a messenger, yeah, sent by God. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him. Wow. Monica, you have a question.
Why did they want to kill him?
Well, they hated him because he told them that they would be bowing down to him. Then don't forget, he got the special present given to him by their father. Go ahead, Monica.
Is that the only reason why?
Well, they just hated him, and don't forget, they had different mothers. Jacob had 4 wives. So from the 4 wives, he had different children. Go ahead, Monica.
I know one of the wives' name.
What is it?
Rachel.
Rachel. Does anybody know another wife's name? Rachel, and who else? There was Zilpah, and there was Bilhah, and who else? Anybody know? Leah. So that's the names of the 4 wives. Okay. So it came to pass, so verse 20, come therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit, and we shall say, now this is a lie, right?
Yes.
We shall say some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams. Go ahead, Daniel.
Was the pit called a cistern?
It could have been a cistern. It could have been where there was water. Go ahead, Monica.
They made a lie about how they killed him. Can I tell you how?
Well, they were gonna kill him. They didn't kill him yet. Okay? But Reuben heard it. Who was Reuben? Go ahead.
One of the brothers.
He was the oldest of the brothers, right? Go ahead, Vincent.
He was the one that was nice to Joe.
He was nice to Joseph. That's right. When Reuben heard it, he delivered him out of his hands and said, let us not kill him. Now, we're going to be right back. Please stay tuned for this important Bible study, and we'll be right back. Well, welcome back to the program. Now, we ended in Genesis chapter 37, verse 22, and Reuben said to them, "Shed no blood, but cast them into this pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, that he might" what? That he might what? Go ahead, Monica.
Die?
That he might deliver them from their hands and bring them back to their father. What happened after that? What happened after they put him in the pit? Go ahead, Angel.
They sold him to some merchants or traders that were coming their way, that were
That's
walking
right.
through by.
They sold him. And what happened after that, Monica?
They got his cloak and cut it,
Right,
and then they got lamb's blood
right.
and drenched it in lamb's blood. But they made a lie that a wild animal killed him.
That's right. They went back to their father, right?
And
With
told
the
him.
coat? Isn't that right?
Yes.
Well, what happened to Joseph next? Go ahead, Vincent.
They sold him again to.
Who knows the name?
They sold him to Potiphar, the
Potiphar.
head guard.
In what? In where? What country? Go ahead, Monica.
Egypt.
In Egypt, yeah. Now he's far away from home. And he's all by himself. And he's a slave, isn't that right?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's go on to verse 35. Verse 34, then Jacob tore his clothes and put sackcloth on his waist, and he mourned for his son many days. Why? Why did he mourn? Because why?
Because he thought he was dead.
He thought he was dead. Go ahead, Angel.
Was the sackcloth to show that he's humble to God and to make him seem like he's more humble and
Yeah.
peaceful?
People did that in those days. They put on sackcloth. Yeah. For he said, for I shall go down into the grave to my son in mourning. That meant he was going into the grave. When he would die, he would still be mourning for Joseph. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And thus his father wept for him. Okay. Now, let's go to chapter 39. Now Joseph was taken down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him down. And the Lord was with who? Go ahead, Monica.
Joseph?
The Lord was with Joseph. And he was a successful man. Why? Why was he successful? Go ahead, Angel.
Because God had a plan for him
And
to save
blessed-
the people from famine.
Yeah, God blessed him and made him the number one man in the Egyptian's house. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and the Lord made all he did to prosper in his hand. So Joseph found favor in his sight and served him. Then he made him what? Go ahead.
He made him in charge of all his things.
That's right. In charge of the whole house, Angel.
Then he was in charge of all of his house and making sure it all kept tidy
Yeah.
and nice.
And it was from that time that he made him overseer of his house and all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was on all that he had in the house and in the field. Verse 7. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast longing eyes on Joseph, and she said, what? What did she say?
She likes him, and she tried to kiss him, but he said no, and he lied too.
And he ran away, and she tore a piece of his
Yeah,
clothes.
she said, lie with me. Lie in the bed with me. What was wrong with that? Go ahead.
She was married to
She
the
was married, and that would be what?
wrong.
That would be what, Angel? What commandment would he be breaking?
Adultery?
Adultery. Thou shalt not commit adultery, right, Michael? Richard, is that right? Yeah. Okay. So what did he say? He said he refused and said to his master's wife, look, my master doesn't know what is with me. and in the house, and he's committed all that he has to my hand. There is no one greater in this house than I am, nor has he kept anything back from me, but you, because you are his what?
Wife.
Wife. Yeah. How then can I do this great what? This great
Sin?
sin. Yeah. And sin against who?
God.
God. That's right. It would be a sin against God. Okay? So it was, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not heed her, to lie with her, or to be with her. And it happened about this time when Joseph went into the house to do his work, none of the men in the house was inside. And what happened next? Good, Angel.
She wanted to kiss him and everything,
Yeah.
but then he ran away, and she tore a piece of his cloak.
She tore a piece of his clothes. And what did she do with the piece of clothes?
She had it in her hand.
She had it in her hands, and what did she do with it?
She
Angel?
told Potiphar that he attacked her.
Yeah. And she said, here I have this piece of clothes that belongs to Joseph, and he attacked me. You see? It was a big what?
She
It was
lied.
a big lie. That's right, Richard. It was a big lie. Okay. What did Potiphar do? Go ahead, Monica.
He sent Joseph to jail.
He sent Joseph to jail. Wow. Did Joseph do anything worthy of going to jail? Vincent?
No.
Did he do anything that he should go to jail for?
No.
No, he was innocent, right? He
Yes.
was
Yes.
framed, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he was framed. Wow. Okay. Now, the Lord was with Joseph, verse 21, and showed him mercy. And he gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the what? What is it?
Of the jail?
Of the jail. Yeah. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, it was his doing. So he was in charge of what? Go ahead, Monica.
The jail to
He was
watch
in charge
everybody.
of the jail. Yeah. Now it came to pass, what came to pass after that? What two people came into the jail?
2 people that were framed for poisoning food.
Well, they were accused of poisoning whose food?
The
The Pharaoh's food? Was it the Pharaoh?
yes.
Yes.
His
yeah.
wine.
Okay, and it came to pass after these things, chapter 40, verse 1, that the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt offended their lord, the king of Egypt. He was also called what?
The Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. He was called the king of Egypt and Pharaoh. And Pharaoh was angry with his 2 officers, the chief butler and the chief baker, so he put them into custody in the house of the captain of the guard in the prison where the place where Joseph was confined. Now what happened with the baker and the butler? What happened? Monica?
They got framed because that the wine was poisoned and his bread.
Okay, it could be. Angel, what happened?
While they were in prison, they told Joseph their dreams.
They had dreams, right?
I-
Now, what? Go ahead.
I know
Angel.
the dreams.
Go ahead. What's
The first
dream?
guy,
Okay.
he said, he said that he imagined he had 3 baskets on his head, and on the top birds came and they ate the grapes.
Okay.
And Joseph didn't want to tell him what it meant, because it meant he was gonna die.
Yeah, it was bread. It was bread on
Yeah.
there. That was the baker, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened with the butler? Anybody know what his dream was? He dreamed he was squeezing
Grapes.
grapes, and he was going to put it in a cup, and he was going to give it
To the Pharaoh.
to Pharaoh, right?
Yes.
And after 3 days, what happened?
He was spared his
He was-
life,
yeah.
and he was put back into his position.
Yeah, he came out of prison, right?
Yes.
Did the butler remember Joseph?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
He didn't remember
He didn't?
Joseph. He forgot all about Joseph. And it took another 2 years before he remembered. Now, why did he remember? Because why?
Because the Pharaoh was having a dream every night.
Pharaoh was having a dream. Does anybody know what the dream was? Go ahead, Monica.
7 years with food and 7 years without food.
7 years of famine, right? Go ahead, Angel.
He imagined in his dream 7 healthy fat cows came out of the river and started eating, but then 7 more very skinny and bony cows came out and they ate the 7 healthy
Okay, what
fat
did
ones.
that mean, Richard? Do you know what that meant? That there would be how many years of good crops?
7.
7. And there would be how many years of famine?
7.
7 years of famine. Well, kids, we're going to end right there. We're going to offer these 2 very important booklets. Please send away for them. They're absolutely free. Why were you born? Why were you born? You know, there's a good reason why you were born. God's working with you. God's working with little children. And it's important that we understand the purpose of our birth. And the second booklet is simply the kingdom of God. What does that mean to you? These 2 booklets are positively free. We never ask the public for money. So when you call up, we're never going to ask you, how much would you like to donate? We're never going to ask you that. So please call us at the number on the screen. Be glad to send it to you. Until next time, this is Meyer Stahl of the Southern New Mexico Church of God saying goodbye, my friends.
You have been listening to What is Truth with Pastor Meyer Stahl of the Southern New Mexico Church of God, located in Las Cruces, New Mexico. For copies of today's lesson or for more information, call area code 575-650-7359. That's 575-650-7359. Join us next week at this same time for another edition of What is Truth. Until next week, we wish you God's richest blessings.